Happy New Year, everybody. How you all doing? And welcome to YouTube Live with Philip Quinn, Medium Life Guide, and Isaac, who is my guide. And for any of you who are joining us and just tuning in, been doing this now for over 25 years, believe it or not. It's just actually hard to believe. So, sorry, I'm just trying to get this lighting right here. But anyway, it's a little difficult when Catherine's not here. So, Happy New Year's, everyone. Welcome to YouTube Live yet again with Philip Quinn, Medium Life Guide. A couple of things I want to just get going here and explain to you all that will answer some of the basic questions that people have been asking. People have been saying, how do they know I'm going to be on live on YouTube versus Facebook and so on? So if you hit the subscribe button to my channel, it'll notify you when I'm going to be doing a live. And I typically, we've been announcing that we'll be doing a live a couple of days ahead of time. So hit that subscribe button, everyone, please. And I'm reading my notes. Also, we have a couple of classes that are coming up in January. So classes are Isaac and I's way. Isaac is my guide for anyone tuning in, of educating people who are interested in a deeper knowledge of spirituality and understanding of self. And that's why we teach these classes. So they're extremely informative, and all the knowledge and information that comes is through Isaac or Red Feather, my guide. And Isaac being now my primary guide. We'll get into that another time. So the two classes are the power of the chakras. I love this. And how they guide and shape your world. I learned how to do my readings, mediumship, once I truly understood the 7 chakras within in the body. And they're not just simple energy points. They're much, much more than that. And the second class is messages from beyond, how to recognize and interpret signs from the other side. This was another course that Isaac chose because often we'll see repetitive numbers, or which I never did, but now I'm seeing them all the time. When people lose someone, a specific sign comes into your life. But then, like, I'll use numbers, for example. So when you're seeing 1111 or 333, whatever it may be, if you look it up on Google, it'll tell you basically, what someone's interpretation of this is. I sat with Isaac after Thanksgiving. And I said, I really need to understand how, if someone hasn't lost someone but is seeing these repetitive numbers, what and how do they interpret into their life, and what the actual meaning of this is. This chakra course is not just only the basics, but how in depth each chakra and how involved it is. One simple chakra in reverse will send you down a totally different journey that you're currently on. Staying balanced is key in this. So those are the two things that I absolutely wanted to reach out and tell you what's coming up. And then for anybody else that really wants any more information, because I really suck at this part, just go to philipquinn.com and all your info is right there. Today on 2025, and it is January 1st, we are talking about how we better our spiritual selves in 2025 in a roundabout way, meaning what to do, goals. And I sat with Isaac on this for the last couple of days, talking to him and saying, how could people prepare for a spiritual awakening, entering their own spiritual awakening? And my teachings with him since I met him, I was around 20. And surprisingly, Isaac has chosen to share or allow me to share how I was taught. And each of these courses that are coming up is all about how I was taught. I don't read spiritual books. I have nothing against them. The one agreement I had with Isaac was that I wouldn't read outside information. All the knowledge I have spiritually would come directly from Isaac. Prior to Isaac was Red Feather. Prior to Red Feather, when I was in high school, was Teddy. So um, I'm ready when you are, my friend. He says, hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. So sorry, when I talk to him, I go silent, so forgive me. So, for anybody that has set up or wanted to have spiritual goals in 2025, or trying to find a way to find your spiritual self, feel free to write it in chat or hit, I don't know if you have a like button on here or a heart button or whatever, and just let me know if you have been thinking about your spiritual journey, what's happening in your life, how to change it, and how to get on your true path and your better path. So this is a little involved. So, and because I took, when Isaac speaks, it's not this communication that you and I are having back and forth. It is this mass download of information. And I'm literally was writing and typing as fast as I possibly could. And one of the questions he said to me was, Philip, what was the first thing that I taught you? And I'm like, I got to go back a lot of years. But I remembered it. And I remembered it because when he asked me, or when he said to me, when I said, Isaac, that stage, I hadn't come out. I was dating a woman and so on and so forth. And I was truly lost within my human self, trying to honor other people, but not honor myself. And it just wasn't working. And one of the things that he said to me, or what ended up coming out, was reconnecting with my inner self. Inner self. What does that mean, Phil? Inner self is your soul, the journey in which you came here on earth to fulfill to the best of your possibility. And reconnecting with self allows you to understand yourself better, but most importantly, the world around you and how to function in it and how to live in it. So it's very easy to lose touch with your inner self. If you're a mother, father, raising kids, jobs, family issues, taking care of an ill parent, taking care of an ill child, taking care of, and then constantly putting out giving, 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 there's really no time, or there is no time to give to self, because by the end of the day, you're exhausted. However, it is a necessity that we make time for self. And because once you lose connection with your inner self, your higher source, your connection of your soul, the communication, that voice in your head that guides you, then we tend to feel very lost and very hopeless, and like nothing's ever going to change, and this is the way it's always going to be. And it brings upon a negative sense of life. So how do you connect with your inner self, Isaac? That's what I'm asking right now. And so in connecting, so I'm generalizing this for you all. How do you connect with your inner self? First and foremost, he says, is setting aside the time. That time that you're setting aside is 15 minutes. In your day, you have to find 15 minutes for self. In that 15 minutes, no phone, no TV, no disruption. You could be at work, whatever it may be. Hello, everyone. And that 15 minutes is for you to sit and process. So that's number one. Then comes step two, which he calls awareness. So I'm a nurse, teacher, whoever it may be. You're taking 15 minutes to yourself. You're either in your vehicle, you're either in a quiet office, your classroom, whatever it is. Now awareness, the translation to that from on the other side, means being in the present moment. So not me on air with you right now thinking about what I have to do next. It's literally being aware of your physical, mental, and spiritual emotions. It is being processing, taking inventory of how you're feeling currently in that moment. I've just worked for 4 hours. How am I feeling? Negative, positive, stressed, whatever it may be. Isaac's also adding in a journal is going to be your best friend in 2025 of documenting, and every time you take that 15 minutes, writing down your journey of how you're feeling. And I remember doing this many times. And one day you could be feeling awesome. Next day you can be feeling as it may be. So he says by journaling and writing down and recording how you're feeling and putting the date is going to help you start your spiritual awakening, which is very important. He also was mentioning, and mentioned, he's bringing up again, the gift and power of a quiet mind. And when he said that to me last night, I was like, oh, yeah. So for me, as a medium, I'm hearing constantly. I go into a supermarket, I'm constantly hearing. So a quiet mind, what he's referring to is when you are negatively speaking to self. And you can all throw me out a thumbs up or something. Do you catch yourselves doing that? If you do, please just throw me out a thumbs up or some sort of message in chat. If you find yourself saying, I'm not good enough or worthy enough, or that's not going to happen, or I'm not going to get this job, or I just lost this job and I suck because why would I have lost that job? And whatever the negative tone may be, that is the lack of a quiet mind. It is when the third eye, and that's why I'm teaching this chakra class, is in reverse. When a chakra is in reverse, it will turn on you, not and how you see, because your third eye allows you to have vision of the world, not only the beyond, but the here and now. And when it turns on you, it tells you all the things that you think or believe or were told that you're not good at. The power of a quiet mind is stillness. There is no negative talk. There is no I am less than. There's no I am not good enough. Now remember how you got to that portion of the quiet mind is the step before, which is the journaling. Before that is the taking the 15 minutes to yourself. Then you're processing within those 15 minutes, how do you feel? All you're doing is documenting how you're feeling within those 15 minutes of your day so far. And you write it out. Your hand does not come off that page until you are done writing. It could be what happened the night before or whatever it may be. By getting it out, the universe hears how you're feeling. The universe knows how you're feeling, but it's hearing that you want direction, help. That's where angels and guides come into that. So in the awareness of a quiet mind, and that's one of the things I do when I ground before I do readings is I have to level myself out because I know the person who I'm going to speak to next and do this 7 days a week is in pain. My baggage shit cannot come into play here because it'll get very convoluted. So I neutralize myself, thus a quiet mind. Does it take practice? Absolutely. Do you have to go into this state of meditation? No. Writing is meditation. Prayer is meditation. You don't need to go into this state of floating and elevation and whatever, so on. So it's meditation does not have to take hours. It can literally take moments. So it can. And he's really stressing this. Surrendering in 2025. What was? So looking back in 24 and things that may have went down, why you, again, changed jobs or you divorced or you broke up or whatever didn't happen, surrendering means I'm at peace. But surrendering, Isaac says, the translation. So when he says translation, I just want to let you know, talking to a guide, an angel, is not normal. Like, it's not, you don't get this straight communication. Anybody that does, God bless them. But it's not so much as a riddle, but there is a translation. So surrendering isn't giving up. Surrendering is trust in the universe and trusting in your higher self and source, that for whatever reason those things happened, they were part of this journey to bring me to where I am at this moment. And again, if you didn't get the job that you wanted, simply could be the best gift that you ever received in your life. When you have faith in the other side, you won't question why you didn't get the job, because you have a quiet mind. You'll just know that the right one is coming for you. And again, I'm generalizing by using job or whatever it may be. Patience is self-awareness. When we get and become impatient, life just becomes hectic, because we're telling the universe, hey, hustle already. Like, let's make this happen. So, and if I have it now, or if I have the answer now, then I'm going to heal and be able to get past this. So, and that's not spiritually the way it works. Patience is trust in self and trust in the other side. Again, I understand that is a statement that sounds difficult and is hard to do, but it's actually quite easy when you practice it. Again, we're talking 15 minutes a day. Set a timer. Set the timer. You're walking out of your classroom, you're finding your quiet space, your timer's on. You have your notebook. You're literally documenting, writing down the date, the time, how you feel at that very moment. I'm pissed off with this. These kids are making me nuts. Why did I get in this marriage? What's happening here? I can't go to another hospital. I'm grieving. I just lost whatever it may be. Document it, because it's for your records to go back on. The awareness, being present. Once you're present, the mind will quiet. That you know that you're sitting in your car and you're taking 15 minutes to yourself, and you're taking a deep breath, and you're not taking that deep breath with a cigarette. Even though it sounds tempting, but you're not. You're literally sitting there and just being still for 15 minutes. And don't make it arduous. Don't make it a task. Don't make it like homework, but yet rather a gift. And if you're normally used to going and seeing, your coworkers for your lunch break, say, I have to take 15 minutes to myself. You don't have to do it daily, but I recommend that you do it daily. So surrendering, accepting what happened, is trusting that the universe is going to guide you to where you need to be. I hear you. So surrendering also is a way of saying it is releasing what no longer serves you and releasing what holds you back or what holds you down. Yes, that is not always easily done. But again, you're documenting this in your journal, right? No one's telling you to take action, because first in your spiritual awakening, awareness is the biggest thing. Being present and aware of what's going on around you 24/7 is vital for your spiritual well-being. Surrendering does not mean accepting. It doesn't mean that I'm accepting the shit that happened. Surrendering is that doesn't serve me. Me being negative, going into my head, me going in and demolishing myself in my head and calling myself names is not going to get me closer to my goal. Because something didn't happen, Isaac's saying, that was my will. Doesn't mean that it was your contractual agreement when you came here, or the will of your spirit. It was your human will. But spirit will always bring you to where you need to be. But you do have to take your inventory. You do have to take a moment to yourself and saying, where am I at? Because none of us are perfect. Doesn't matter who we are. We're in this physical vessel. So Then that brings you to this is literally what he walked me through. Then that brings you to what is known as shadow work. What is shadow work? When he first said that to me, I was like, kind of madness is this? And it's shadow work is also known as addressing the inner child, the solar plexus. Within the solar plexus, right here, again, the chakra class, that's where the inner child is stored. All memories of your childhood and life here on earth. The inner child, the solar plexus, the doorway to the soul, the power chakra, remembers and stores all events, good and bad. It's also your defender. Addressing the inner child, the younger version of you, so who you are now, you're looking back on the younger version of you. Let's just say you grew up in a happy household, or an alcoholic household, or an abusive household, or a silent household, or a household that there was no conflict. All of these things will have an effect on you later. But the inner child, the power chakra, if it's wounded, it'll always be defensive. And if it's wounded, and all of our inner childs are wounded at some point in our life, that's what causes the third eye to say, I'm not good enough, worthy enough, deserving enough. I am not. So on my website, there is a part where it says soul codes, and there's no write-up yet because it's so intense, and it is addressing the manners of the inner child to bring yourself back to one. The problem I'm having is this something Isaac and Redfeather created. If I tell you what one person experienced in these travels, then you'll want to experience that. And no two souls are alike. So no two people will see the same things. And in the soul code journey, it is remerging with the inner child, but you're working with Isaac and Redfeather. I'm just simply repeating. And it is a remarkable experience. And for anybody that has done it, you can read about it. I'm sure they put it up somewhere, like in reviews and whatnot. So the inner child is a powerful, powerful chakra that determines how you emotionally feel about the world and things coming at you. I know it's a lot to dump on you, but I'm giving it to you anyway. So at least just have something starting out in 2025. Our spiritual growth, ladies and gentlemen, Isaac said again last night, it was late, it's not linear. Some days you feel super connected to the other side. Does anybody feel that? Give me a yes, a thumbs up or something. Like you wake up and you're just like, woohoo, I can hear the grass grow. I'm fully in contact with communication. I'm fully in contact with the other side. I know where I'm supposed to be going. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know. Hello, Martin. I know, and thank you. I'm not sure what that is a gift. Then there's other days where you feel off. You don't wake up feeling rosy in the garden. You don't wake up seeing the world so bright and fluffy because something would have thrown you off. Something may have upset you the night before. So there's days in our spiritual self where we feel very connected and other days that you don't. And that's perfectly normal. Isaac says, however, if you do the steps in which we talked about before, it is your grounding process. And you're not going to go into on again, off again. You're going to stay very rooted and grounded. Can you stay rooted and grounded, Isaac, 24/7? He says he can. The answer to that is no, because you're not supposed to. He has a very dry sense of humor, just so you know. And you're not supposed to because you cannot live your life on the other side and function here on Earth. So it's got to be 50-50, right? So you have to live your physical world and your spiritual self and walking your path and why you came here and what you're doing. So Martin, I will answer your question shortly, Isaac says. So I just want to recognize that for you. And then lastly is your affirmations. Okay, so when Isaac said to me affirmation, I literally said to him, "What does that mean?" Just so you know, I couldn't read till I was 16. I'm not kidding you. Like, I could not read. So growing up in Northern Ireland in a war, it tends not to be number one. Survival kicks in. Um, so he explained what an affirmation was to me. And these were spiritual affirmations. And I'm going to share one with you that, and all the ones that Isaac and Red Feather shared with me were for my journey. And he said to me, keep these, Philip, meaning record these, because one day you'll share them, never knowing what it meant. Today's that day. So during my, when Isaac was teaching me, when I first met him, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I sat for hours on end. Every Monday was a very specific topic. I mean, this went on for months because it took so long to cover it. Tuesday, let's say, was a chakra or chakras. Wednesday was the aura, the human aura. Thursday, recall, was communication. Friday was disconnect, meaning living here on earth. So this is how I operated and worked with Isaac to not only understand my gift, because my gift began at 6. I didn't have a guide when I first got my gift. I didn't even know what it was. All I knew was I was very different than my siblings. So in my affirmations, he said to me, "Philip, I have a gift for you." So I'm just going back with him. I get a little emotional with this. And his gift to me was a reminder in this affirmation for what it's all for. Because I'm telling you, I know you probably have all felt it. Why did that happen? Why did I have to go through that? Why am I in this specific space? In this time? Why did this have to happen to me? Why was I the one that was chosen for this bullshit? Why am I the sole caretaker when I have all these siblings? Why did I get hit with divorce papers on Christmas Day? Why did I lose my child? Why did I lose my life partner? Why? And when you are in that space, that's when you turn on yourself. Because they're your private thoughts. And turning on yourself, like Isaac says, will not bring you to the answer. Why is something I do not ask the other side. Why is not something I asked Isaac. To this day, I have not asked, why did I get this gift? And the reason being, I kind of discovered it years later, was I felt it was insulting to the other side, to whomever, whatever reason I came here with this. So, because it's a gift. So, in the moments of why, he said to me, what was is not what is. That's what it's like to talk to a guide, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's like to talk to a supernatural being, an angel. What was is not what is. And the moment he said it to me, boom, there was this huge release. What happened to me is not what's going to continue to happen. What happened then does not have to continue in to the now. The negativity that was, I'm not re-inviting, nor do I have to re-invite it into my current new life, my new space, my spiritual space. What was is not what is, and what is going to be. What is going to be is what we created, and that is light. Happiness, no one writes into the contract. BS. No one writes into the contract putting up for someone else's shit going to work when you just want to do your job. So I've always said to myself for the years that I've known Isaac, and that's how he speaks. That's exactly how he speaks. I asked him a question. Why? Why does this happen to these people? Why did they lose their child? Why did this? Why did that? And his answer to me was, what was is not what is. And I remember bursting out laughing, saying, I can't say that to people. And he said, Philip, this is for you. That stage of my life, maybe I'll tell you about it one day, it was very, very relevant. And again, I was 21 when he gave this to me, because my father had just passed. When you understand your chakras, and I know like you could go on Google right now and Google chakras, and they'll give you a breakdown of what the chakras are. There's nothing on there that I learned from Isaac that was even remotely close to what is on the internet. Each chakra has a location and does a very specific thing. Organs. But when I say location, in shadow, it brings you to a location, a sad one. Each chakra, heart chakra is self-love, self-care. Throat chakra is communication. In shadow, it's saboteur. Talking negatively to other people or yourself, or constantly causing doubt. So, hey, Phil, I got a new vehicle. I got a new car. I got a new house. Oh, the recalls on those cars I hear are terrible. That's a bad neighborhood. It's going down. That's a saboteur. Someone who constantly places doubt in your life or world because they themselves feel negative, are in doubt, uncertainty, unhappy. I just got married. Oh, that guy, he screwed half the town. So, and therefore, when you are brought down, they feel equal. In the chakra class that we have coming up in January, and the power of the chakras, how they guide your life, shape your world. When you understand who's around you, who's in front of you, and the behavior that they are exhibiting. And you can read that. You'll read that in everyone. You'll know what's good for you and what's not good for you. So those are the steps that Isaac suggests starting this new year. We've never really talked about this in any of my lives. How to get onto your spiritual journey. Remember, this is about you taking time for you, your inventory, assessing self, documenting it, being present and aware. And this is not about taking action yet, because first you must understand self. So no one's telling you to run out and leave your job or, get a divorce or whatever it is you're feeling in that moment, because you're going to see as you document, your emotions are going to change. But most remarkably, you're going to see your soul talk to you. And that's the great part about this. So Isaac says, welcome everyone to 2025. This year is a year of transformation and spiritual change for us all. And each year we do spiritually grow and we evolve. But in this year, we're making a pact, because you've all followed me for so long, and I'm truly, truly grateful. I love to teach and educate and give back to you in any way that I can. And I'm sharing with you how I stay grounded and put. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Life happens. People assume that because I'm a medium, that if I ever lose somebody, well, I can always talk to them. Well, if you know anything about my story, I can't. I can't use my gift for myself. So, and when I grieve heavily. It's one of the things that I despise about myself. Like I said this to Catherine recently. When I grieve in depth. Like it comes from me. I don't even know where it comes from, but it is horrible. And but I cannot use my gift for myself. If the other side comes through to me, it's because they're coming through to me personally, meaning family-wise. So get different colors on here. But I cannot summon them for myself. I could go outside and get hit by a bus on Isaac, but not interfere. So, because he's taught me to look both ways. And that's what spirituality is about you being accountable for you. Now, with that said, I'm going to stop rambling. And Isaac says, welcome to the start of a new year. I'm going to take your questions. And if you even do this, what I shared with you all for a week, and maybe Catherine and I can find a way of posting these are the steps, you'll notice a massive change in your life because it puts you on your journey, your spiritual journey, the reason why you came to Earth, which sits here in the throat chakra, because the opposite of the saboteur is the communicator. We'll get into that later. So, first question, Martin is asking, please, this is hysterical to me, please ask Isaac about the drones. Who's in there? All right. So I don't know anything about these drones, so this is going to be interesting. Until like a week ago or so, I have TVs, but they're never turned on. There's no, I just don't watch television. And my mother does though. And I went in to check on her and I saw this whole thing about these drones. And I'm like, Isaac, we're going to be asked about these drones. So the answer is no one's in them. But they're being used as surveillance. They're being used as a variety of different things, but by the government and so forth. This is not an alien thing. And I'm telling you this, and I don't make predictions because it's just not my thing. I don't care for that. Meaning that it's not that I don't care for it. It's just something I just never got into. And I know it in my head. I just don't speak it out loud. So Isaac's saying essentially is they're being used for security, for finding people, for checking on shit, all that stuff. So go ahead, Catherine. If you can make it bigger, honey. Okay. Hi, Phil. As far as your gift, wouldn't you have chosen that as part of your current contract? You would think so, yes. And that is a question I haven't asked. So I know there's many, other people who are mediums and psychics and so on, and that is contractual to them. I don't know per se if that's what I signed up for. However, I'd imagine it is part of my contract. Your contract works as you're walking down your yellow brick road. These are all the things that you have led out. My contract is led by Isaac, what I do for a living, and helping people. So yes, part of that is yes. The other part of that is people have gifts and they suppress them. So even though it's part of your contract, you still have to face your gift, meaning that you could be a great artist and never show anybody because you're worried about criticism. Now imagine telling people that you see and hear the other side. Like you see and hear me. Now imagine having to tell people that you also have a guide. Then imagine you have to tell people that guide is an angel, and which I never disclosed. I accidentally did it on live because the person who asked it, their name was Catherine, who I just did a reading for the other day. And I thought it was my Catherine asking that question because I myself, to be quite honest, was embarrassed because I'm like, I just can't tell people this here. And I was young, and it was my shame, like it was my fear, and I let that run. But my contract, yes, is absolutely says that I would have a gift, but I had to face stepping into the gift, learning, putting all that time and effort into it, dedicating my entire life to it. So a gift is not something that will just turn on and all of a sudden it automatically works. You have to work, you have to understand it, be responsible with it. That's why I have guides, meaning that when you're responsible with your gift will expand and expand and expand and expand. And I've been offered and asked 100 times, why don't you do a TV show? Why don't you go on stage? Because it was never my thing. You can't have 5,000 people in a room, 1,000 people in a room, and control that energy. Now, people say, well, I've been to so-and-so, and they certainly can do it. And God bless them, and I know all these people, but you can't. There's too many moving parts. So you literally have to but hone in on and silence and solidify. And to solidify sound from the other side is very, very difficult. And I remember the day that I was able to do it. I was like, wow, peace in the mind. So I ramble. Where are we at here, Catherine? What does Isaac know about light language, and why is... Okay. Okay, so the question is, what does Isaac know about light language, and why is it so healing to my physical body, my physical vessel? You respond to it. You're responding to it because your soul is open to it. And your physical vessel is, when you leave it and you travel, it goes into repair mode. It's one of the things that in the soul codes, when people travel, and every single person travels, every single person has done this. And I've tried 1,000 ways to try and disprove this before I released it. When your soul responds to meditation, a form of whatever it may be, the physical vessel will go into repair mode and start healing. So I know it's called light language here. There, it's something entirely different. To me, it's explained something entirely different. I'm not going to say the name yet until he gives me permission. But you respond to it because your soul says this is good for you. It agrees with your soul. It speaks the language with your soul, and boom, works. Christopher says, what does intermediate ear ringing signify? Almost like a busy signal. Ooh. So, Christopher, it depends on if it's the left side of the body or the right side of the body. If you're hearing this high-pitched ring, it's on the left side, then it's feminine energy from the other side, meaning that it's a female soul coming through. If it's on the right side, it's a male soul entering the room. When I say entering the room, it means the veil's opening up and you're hearing this massive burst of energy. And if it's a male energy that you associate with, you'll feel it, you'll hear it on your right. Or if it's feminine, you'll hear it on your left. Or if you're hearing it frequently in both ears or periodically, it's often a white light or an archangel, an angel coming in to help you. And that ringing that you hear is the easiest way to tell when someone is entering a room, the soul is entering a room. And when you hear it, here's what you say, Isaac saying. If for all of you who want to take sign up for this signs class that I have coming, when you hear that sound, welcome them. Say, hi, I know you're here. Welcome. I'm open to any communication you wish to give me. Do not specify. Open up the cupboards, turn on the lights, so on. If you want a sign, don't do that. Because a sign is to spiritually evolve you. And if you tell a soul what to do, it never, ever happens. So you want it to happen organically, and you will not miss a sign. When the other side gives you communication, you will not miss it. So, okay, Leah, question about our guide. Where do they exist? Slightly above us at all times, or not near us? Or not near us. Okay, so where is Isaac right now? Let's just say that. Is he slightly above me? Is that where he exists? Is he next to me? So Isaac is on this plane with me, but does not reside here. We'll go back to the other side. And I haven't even explained to you all what the other side is, really, like where it's located, or is it located. And so when you often see a spirit who are an earthbound soul, that's a ghost, they look like they're taller than you or they're above you. And that's because they're on a different timeline where they died and stayed earthbound. And we've progressed. So you're going to be looking up at them. And that's why they seem like they're floating. So, but when your guide comes through, they're right next to you on this physical plane, meaning that my feet are on this ground, their feet are on this ground, and therefore, boom, boom, the sync happens, the connection, thus the guidance. Wheezy. Do I have to ask a question in a reading, or can I let my loved ones talk to me? Both. It's up to you. I often tell people, see, the reason why most mediums don't allow you to ask questions, the reason why I allow people to ask questions and I record every session is there are things that you may want to know in general about yourself or so on. The other side is going to come through and address the immediates, what needs to be known, what they want you to understand about their journey, about passing over and what they're doing on the other side, and things that may need to go on here. And then you may have a question about your best friend's mom, a relationship that you're currently in, and things like that. So I allow people to ask questions, and the questions often pertain to their personal life and things like that. But often before they even ask the questions, the other side have already answered that for them. Hope that answered your question. Okay, great question. Can I live my soul's purpose even if I'm on antidepressants? So, can I live, Philip? Isaac, the question is, I know you understand it, but if someone is taking medication for various situations, does it affect their spiritual path? Does it affect the journey in which they're going to go down and why they came here to Earth? And his response is, your soul already knows that at this time period you would be taking an antidepressant. It does not affect your path. Matter of fact, it can be a necessity in order to live your path and journey down it, doing what you have to do. When the third eye and the crown chakra are not operating right, and we have to add in a medication to stabilize the brain, it gives us clarity and we're able to receive information. So it doesn't affect your path. Not taking it may affect your path, but by taking it, it's not going to deter. Now, I know, don't all jump on me right now. There are people out there that don't believe in medications. But that's your opinion, which is, I'm just telling you Isaac's answer. If you don't believe in medications, fine. You can do it the natural way. No one's taking that away from you. But if other people want to do it their way, they're entitled to do it that way. So remember that. Everything has a side effect. We're aware of that. Even vitamins. So even foods. Okay. Gary, how do you know how much of your contract you have completed? Brilliant question. You don't, Isaac says. You will not know that until the soul review. When you pass over and you go into your soul review to look back on your contract, what you designed, what you achieved, what you may not have achieved. And you're not graded on this, you're grading yourself. The thing about the soul review that's very interesting is, so you go into the soul review, you're reviewing your current life here on Earth. And let's just say you didn't necessarily do right by somebody, or you hurt somebody, or you harmed someone. You will see what you did, literally played out in front of you, and then how that affected that person's life, and then how that affected their kid's life, and so on. So the soul review is so in depth, like I can't even explain it to you. But there's no judgment to on the other side when it comes to that, meaning that you're taking all of this in. The soul review's purpose is our elevation. There are souls that cross over that come here with a contract that I've met that don't elevate. And I just want to clarify something because Isaac's asked me to bring this up. Because someone may end their existence, do not assume that they will or will not elevate. The person, you will never know until you do your soul review. So I often get hit with this, you're going to this fiery place known as hell if you do X, Y, and Z. In all my years of seeing the other side, and all the things that I've ever seen, including aliens, which freaks me out, I've never seen this place known as hell. And I have people jump on YouTube and write, accept Jesus into your life and all of that business. Well, I was raised a Catholic, and even though I don't practice, it doesn't mean I don't have faith in my universe or my God or whatever you may want it to be. So, but that statement, when somebody hits you with that, means you got to believe in my God. And no, I believe in the rules of the universe. So, meaning the other side. Okay, serious question. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to read that. If spirituality is an individual journey, what is the purpose of a lifelong marriage? Is it growing together, or is it growing individually? What a brilliant question, and I love it. So, it's both. It's growing together, but also growing and accomplishing your individual spiritual contract. What that means is you can be married, and should you stay married and stay in love, and I know relationships are up and down, all that, you're growing together, you're evolving together, but you're also have to experience and do experience your own contract, because you, even if you're soulmates, you still design two contracts. You will meet up here. You will have a life together. You'll have many experiences together, but you still will experience your own contractual agreements, because we both have our own families, our own feelings, and so on. Thus, my issue with the soul codes. If I tell you one person saw this and you want to see that, it's not possible. Even if they're twins, okay? Even if two people see the same event, one person will see a pen, the other one will see the pen that, had the ink sticking out. That one minor detail changes the entire course of everything. In the soul code journey, the reconnection with the inner child, and using Isaac's frequencies, which is a remarkable journey. When you connect with your higher self, and it is the things you see and what people have seen are just remarkable. They blow my mind, because as a medium, it's one thing for me to see them, but for everyday people to see it. And it's not like we're talking and I'm saying, in this, you're going to see X, Y, and Z. None of that happens. And again, I record every session. And if in the soul code journey, if you meet on a Monday, you'll meet Isaac and I again the following Monday. And there's no communication in between that. So, but what's fascinating is, and I'm going to reveal this, haven't told anybody, all the people who do the soul codes, you've all seen very similar or exact things. So, does anybody know what DMT is? I think that's the name of it. It's called the God drug. And it brings you to this state of being, of death of the ego. And either people will either see Buddha, 50% of them, all around the world, or clowns. And they hear this specific music. And then Isaac and Red Feather Soul Codes, they will describe something with Isaac. And you have to understand, I've told you all very little about what Isaac actually looks like. But I've documented what Isaac looks like. And Catherine knows, and various other people. And when they tell me, it blows my mind. that Isaac has visited them or red feather. I mean, it blows my mind that someone who never doesn't practice spirituality, but yet they have this transformational experience. I know I'm rambling. James is asking, how is the accomplishment of our contract recorded, and by whom? And since there are 8 billion souls on Earth. Okay. How is the accomplishment of the contract recorded? All right. So the soul is documenting that. When you go into your soul review, you will process it, you will see it, therefore it's documented in the Great Hall. So number one. 2, since there's 8 billion souls on Earth, I'm not sure what that means. I think what you may be saying is, if there's so many people on Earth, who's documenting all of this? And this is why the soul codes were created, and why the chakra class, because they go hand in hand. Your soul is infinite. It's had so many lifetimes, not just here, but other places, that it is like a sponge. It holds the records. And most importantly, if you want to get really down to it, all of that information goes to Akasha, the Akashic records. In the Akashic records, all lifetimes, every place that you've ever been, everything you've ever done is restored within this energetic place. And it's truly remarkable. We'll get into that another time. Okay. Isaac, it's a great question. How do I stop my constant fight or flight fear? And Isaac, okay, so if you were listening from the beginning, and Catherine and I will put up what was said, if you follow the basic steps that Isaac gave in the beginning of this video, this will point out the fight or flight, where you're doing so, and how to stop it and prevent it. And you won't be the one to stop it or prevent it, Isaac says. Your higher self, your soul, in its entirety, will deactivate it. Fight or flight is taking place because either learned behavior, when you come into Earth and we pick it up in the household we grew up in, a survival technique, and continues because we don't know quite how to stop it. But you could do all you want, but it's when you surrender it and you go through that process that Isaac spoke about, the soul deactivates it. But it does serve a purpose. But when it controls your life, that's when letting go is an essential part of your spiritual growth. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your great questions, and thank you all for always tuning in. And should you write in the comments section, we try to go back and answer these questions if I didn't get to everybody. Thank you all for following me all these years, and thank you all for listening, and thank you all for allowing people to share their thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and not being criticized by others, but keeping this a spiritual community. I love you guys. You're awesome. Happy New Year. And I hope that you do get a moment to start out the way Isaac had suggested. Even if it's for a week, you will see a dramatic change within your spiritual path. So I love you all. I'll see you next Wednesday. And for anybody that's on Facebook, we're on Facebook on Thursday nights, and we're on YouTube on Wednesday. However, if you wish to be alerted to, just hit the subscribe button, and that will tell you what the new topic's going to be, when it's going to be on, so on. I'm told to tell people to hit the subscribe button, even though it's weird for me, but please hit the subscribe button. Love you all. See you soon. Happy New Year. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Isaac.